Scientists just discovered a bizarre way to lower blood sugar that oddly has nothing to do with food or exercise. Now, obviously food and exercise are important, but I'm gonna show you an incredibly effective way to improve your blood sugar almost instantly, backed by science using a red light panel just like this. And then I'm gonna also show you how it can be applied in real life if you don't happen to own one of these. Also, you can start fixing your diabetes, insulin resistance, and lose weight. And if you're having issues tolerating carbohydrates despite making changes to your nutrition and fitness, this could potentially change everything for you. But before we go over everything, it's important to understand that carbs actually aren't inherently bad. There are some that are absolutely horrible for you and some that are gonna be great, but that's not the point here. If you can't tolerate carbs, the actual problem is that the cells in your body are broken, which impairs their ability to convert glucose into usable energy. Let me explain. So a child with a blazing fast and healthy metabolism can eat all the carbs in the world and his cells will convert that glucose into energy no problem. But an adult who's been destroying his body for 30 to 40 years with nutrition and lifestyle habits that contribute to inflammation and poor mitochondrial health may not be able to convert glucose into usable energy like that child. His mitochondria, which are the energy production plants of the cells, have become dysfunctional over time, and this negatively affects their ability to turn glucose into energy in the form of ATP. So fixing your mitochondria is what literally every single adult should be prioritizing, because once you can do that, then your broken metabolism becomes fixed. And here's a really interesting way that you can do this using one of these. So light has a really profound effect on your overall health and glucose metabolism. And here's a cool study called Light Stimulation of Mitochondria Reduces Blood Glucose Levels, where scientists found that exposing your skin to red light at a wavelength of 670 nanometers, which is actually part of sunlight, can boost your mitochondria. And this mitochondrial boost supports energy production, which helps your body use more glucose. Now here's what researchers did. So they had 30 healthy participants drink a sugary solution of glucose and water. Half of the participants were exposed to 15 minutes of red light on the upper back before drinking the solution, while the other half received no light at all. And then their blood sugar levels were measured every 15 minutes for 2 hours. And what they found was actually pretty crazy. So that single 15-minute exposure to red light essentially did two things. So from baseline, they had post-meal sugar spike reductions of 27.7%, which means that their blood sugar didn't jump as high after the meal. And because of this, there was a total blood sugar reduction of 7.3%. So over the course of the 2-hour test, the red light group had 7.3% less total blood sugar compared to the placebo, which shows the therapy helps keep blood sugar levels lower overall. Okay, so that's pretty impressive, but what can we actually take away from these details? Let's really think about this for a bit, because there's actually kind of a lot that we can gather from this. So red light supports mitochondrial function, boosting your metabolism, and can therefore help reduce blood sugar. Pretty incredible, right? Well, this means that you can actually go buy a red light panel, take your shirt off and sit in front of it before you eat all your meals. And this could actually be ideal during the winter months, but not everyone can afford these things because they're weirdly expensive. But what else contains red light? Well, sunlight does, and it's about 55 to 65% red light and infrared light. And infrared light is also known to improve mitochondrial function too, so this means that eating your meals outside under direct sunlight could potentially work as well. But it gets even more interesting because there are two other things to consider, and I'll ask you some questions that you can actually think about. So let's look at this from a seasonal perspective and also a daylight perspective. Now, if sunlight and red light improve mitochondrial function and help reduce blood sugar, would it be disadvantageous to eat when the sun has set? And then would it be advantageous to only eat when the sun is out? And to get even more granular, red and infrared light peaks when the sun is rising and setting. So would it be advantageous to eat during sunrise and sunset? Also, if there's less sunlight in general during the wintertime, would it be wise to cut back on carbs a little bit during this time of the year? And if there's more sunlight during the summer, would it be advantageous to eat more carbs during that time of the year too, because you're being exposed to more light in general? All right, so I'm not gonna leave you hanging here, and if you're confused about what to do, here's how I would approach all of this. First, I would prioritize eating during daylight hours, but especially at sunrise and sunset. And though I personally have a red light therapy panel, I'd rather actually just spend more time outside under full spectrum light, but I will be a little bit more deliberate about using my red light therapy panel during the wintertime because it can get pretty cold outside. And then I think it's totally fine fine to play with your carb intake on a seasonal basis, but that kind of ultimately depends on your location and latitude and the amount of light that you're exposed to each day. Now, if you need help with fat loss and fixing your broken metabolism, there are 3 ways that I can help you. You can join my weekly newsletter where I give fat loss tips and write about interesting health and fat loss topics like red light therapy. I also have an online community where you get access to my Metabolic Nutrition Blueprint program and myself, and we do weekly Q&As and accountability calls. And then if you want to work with me one-on-one, you can do that too, but I only take on a couple of new clients each month. And you can check out the links in the description to learn more. But watch this video right here though if you want to deep dive into how I structure my clients' fat loss nutrition plans.